All right, the other day I was on Discord. I joined what's this guy's name? Atheist Junior, which is a guy I watched on YouTube. He was on a channel, I believe it's called Standing for Truth. He did a debate, and I saw that on his channel he had a Discord server, right? So I clicked it and went on there. And, there was a couple, flunkies in the server there. So I engaged in a conversation by way of text, right? So we text back and forth for a little bit, about a couple different subjects. And, it just occurred to me, it's just amazing to me how clueless, some of these, people out there are that believe in the globe Earth. Like, seriously, they don't even know, like, the basics about their own world. Like I asked this guy, well, what is the curvature of the Earth, right? Like, what is the circumference of the world? If I start here, go under the world, come back up behind, back to where I start, like, what is that exactly? How many miles is that? The guy had no idea. It's like, damn, that's like the very basics. Then I asked him, well, what speed is the Earth supposedly rotating an hour? He didn't even know that. The answer is, well, according to modern science, they say 1,000 miles an hour. Then they ask him, well, how far is, I should say, how fast is the Earth in rotation around the sun, according to modern day science? He didn't even know it was 66,000. So again, it's just clear that people out there who claim to believe in science and believe in the globe model, they don't even know what it is that they claim they believe in, ironically enough. So I was just thinking and laughing about that, but came up with an idea of if somebody asked me, but what do we have to show you to actually convince you, that the earth is not flat, right? That the earth is actually a ball spinning around in outer space, right? So I came up with a couple of questions, like 5 questions that I wanted to ask, because they really can't answer these questions. And these are reasonable questions. They ask me, well, why do I believe the Earth's not a ball? It's like, isn't it clear it's a ball? It's like, well, no, because there's certainly a few things here that are clearly problems with the whole model, right? So again, these are a couple questions that you would have to answer for me. You have to prove these things to prove to me that we're actually living on a ball. But the fact that these 5 questions can't be answered, um, and disproven, a few of these, like say for instance, I'll say, and I'll quote it later on my list here, but I'll make a statement and say, well, wait, you can't use NASA imagery and NASA spacewalk footage to say that the Earth's a globe because all of that is CGI and admittedly fake. So that's something you can't use as evidence for why you believe this Earth is is a spinning globe. You can't use that. So anyway, we're gonna get into this list. I have 5 questions of they need to answer these for me. If you're going to prove to me that the Earth is a globe, which, by the way, isn't going to happen, but just for argument's sake, if you're going to try to attempt to prove that to me, you have to answer these questions. So, number one, if the Earth is a ball, how high do I need to go to see the curvature? This is a very simple, basic kindergarten, first grade, preschool, whatever you want to say, question, right? How high do I need to go to see the curvature of the Earth? Just any curvature. Now, here's the problem. People will completely contradict one another. Some will tell you you just got to go to the ocean and look at the boats disappearing over the horizon, and that means they're going over the curvature. Others will say you can see it from the top of a hotel roof building looking out, towards the horizon. You can see it. You can see it in an airplane by looking out the window. And then world famous astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson said when he was doing a live commentary on Felix Baumgartner's Red Bull space jump in 2012, he said that you can't see any curvature of the Earth from 127,000 feet. And that is significantly higher than any of the examples I gave that other people claim you can see the curvature from. So again, the question is, if all these people are giving different answers, what is the right answer? What altitude do I need to go to see the curvature of the world. Again, you would think that globe earthers could come to some type of agreement as to where you can see the curve. But then the world famous scientist says, well, nobody can see the curvature of the earth from not even 127,000 feet. But yet, just a random homeless guy will tell me, well, you can see it, by going to the beach and looking at the boats disappearing over the horizon. See, that's the curve. Or a school teacher will say, well, you can see it by, going to the top of a mountain and looking, out into the horizon. So again, it's like all of these different answers. It's like, why are there so many different answers? Clearly, only one can be true and all the others have to be false. It can't be claimed that, well, you can see it from the mountaintop. That can't be true at the same time as somebody saying, well, you have to be 100 plus thousand feet in order to see any. They both can't be true at the same time. Hell, not even Mount Everest is only like 29,000 feet tall. Right? Mount Everest is only 29,000 feet tall. So according to Neil deGrasse Tyson, you couldn't see any curvature of the Earth even if you went on Mount Everest. So again, I need that answered. At what altitude do I need to go to see curvature to the Earth? Because nobody can give me a concrete answer on that. And this is a big one here. This is the second question I have. Prove we are spinning 1,000 miles an hour. Right? Prove that the Earth that we're walking on is in rotation 1,000 miles an hour. First of all, you can't even prove the Earth is in motion 1 mile an hour or 10 miles an hour. Say for an example, right? There have been plenty of experiments that have been done. Like, say for an example, one experiment that's been done is they took like a cannon, you face it completely straight into the air, and then they shoot a cannonball out of the cannon. And on a calm day, it will completely come back down and land inside of the muzzle of the cannon that it got shot from, right? It got shot out of the cannon, flew hundreds and hundreds of feet into the air, and fell right back into the mouth of the cannon which it was shot from. Now, if the Earth was in motion, there should be no way that the cannonball can land back into the cannon, because as the cannonball is going into the air, the ground which the cannon is based on is moving away from the cannon. So there should be no experiment shown where the cannonball would land right back into the cannon which it was fired from. Other experiments revolving the cannon, what they done is they went out on like a windy or stormy day and they shot the cannonball straight up to try it again. And on a day where there's a lot of wind, the cannonball will land like 2 feet away from the cannon. And logically that makes sense because there's, rain and wind moving it around as it's coming back down, right? But again, in both examples, there should be no way that would land where it landed if the Earth was in motion. It would land hundreds of feet away if the Earth was in rotation. It would not land right where it basically was shot from. Like, seriously, in one example, land right back into the cannon. On the windy day example, it'll land like 2 feet from it. Again, that doesn't happen if this world is in motion. So again, that's an example of how the world is not moving. Another great example. I remember when I was younger, we used to, I used to take the school bus and we would do like a U-turn at like, in Florida we had a place where you could rent rides on helicopters, right? You could pay a certain amount of money. It was around Disney World, right? The Orlando area. So you could pay money to go into this helicopter and they would, like hover you above the area so you can see like the Disneyland area from the from a few hundred feet in the sky, and it'll take you up for like a half an hour to see the surroundings, right? That was one of the things that they offered at that company. So here's the thing. How is it that a airplane, or I should say a helicopter, right, to say it correctly, a helicopter, could hover above the ground for 30 minutes, maybe an hour, and come right back down literally where it took off from? If the Earth is spinning even 20 miles an hour, it shouldn't be possible for a helicopter to land right back on the helipad that it took off from, right? If it's hovering right above the pad for, say, a half an hour, right, 30 minutes, There should be no way it can land right back down where it took off from, because the Earth underneath it is spinning away from it as it's hovering. But what people try to do is they'll claim, well, the atmosphere right there, the atmosphere of the Earth is also rotating with the world. That's the claimed theory behind it. But I call bullshit on that. I call BS on that. That's clearly ridiculous. They're just reaching by saying that. They can't prove that. So once again, nobody can prove to me that this Earth we live on is spinning, because I just provided two examples that completely contradict that idea that this Earth is in motion. Because again, it logically doesn't make sense. Nobody can answer those two experiments that anybody can do. Right? Hell, you could have a company, do the Canon experiment for you that has access to one, or you can go into a helicopter, pay them to let you hover above the ground for 30 minutes in an area, and you'll notice you come back right down from where you took off from. So again, nobody can explain how the Earth is rotating, and nobody can demonstrate it. Nobody can demonstrate that this Earth is in rotation 1,000 miles an hour. So that's question 2 that needs to be answered. And here's a big one. If Earth truly is a globe, why is NASA faking all of the photos, right? Why are all the pictures of Earth CGI or Photoshopped? And even this guy, what's this guy? Robert Simmons, I believe it was. He did an interview about the 2002 Blue Marble picture, and he even said in the interview, we don't get, back these clear pictures. We have to kind of stitch it together. It is photoshopped, right? He said that the Blue Marble is photoshopped, meaning what? That it's not a true picture. It's been, manipulated and, put together to resemble what they want it to look like. So again, if Earth truly is a globe, why are all the NASA photographs CGI? Why are there no real pictures? And again, I think that's a very, reasonable question. I think that's a very reasonable question to ask. If this world that we're living on truly is a, spinning ball, as they claim, there should be some pictures that we have of it, not just, made up fake images. So again, that's question 3. If this world truly is a spinning globe, why the hell are they faking all the pictures of it? Why can't they just show us a real picture? So that's question 3. Question 4 is, why did NASA fake all the moon landings? Well, this kind of goes into a different topic, but it's certainly related to the flat Earth topic. If the moon landings are all fake, that means that when they showed the globe on the footage, that means that globe was also fake. So why are governmental companies going out of their way to try to fake the Earth being a globe and show that to the public? And first of all, if the moon landings are all fake, then that proves that we can't trust what this company NASA is saying. Because, wait, but didn't you guys lie to us? So why the hell will we believe what you're telling us? So again, that has to be addressed as question 4. If we can show, as has been demonstrated countless times before, that the moon missions are all fake. Nobody's ever walked on the moon, right? There's never been a man who set foot on the moon before. It's never happened. It's science fiction. So again, if that can be demonstrated, which it has hundreds of times, thousands of videos exist demonstrating this from thousands of different people around the world. So again, the question remains of, why is NASA faking all of that if we truly can travel to the moon, and if this world truly is a spinning globe? Why are they faking all these things? And then my last question I want to point out, which ties in with the previous ones. I'm going to read it from the paper here. It says, if Hollywood can make outer space movies look identical to the quote-unquote real NASA videos of spacewalks and space station videos, then how do we know what one's real or what one's fake? Basically what I'm saying, if Hollywood is to the point where they're able to deliberately make space movies, like say for instance, The Martian or Life, right? If you ever saw the movie Life, that was a good one. Recommend watching that, right? Where this like alien creature, gets loose in on the ISS or whatever. Very good movie. But the point of bringing this up is if Hollywood can fake the space station and make objects, float around like how we see the so-called real NASA, videos, and they can fake spacewalks and it looks basically identical to the real thing. Well, how do we know the so-called real footage is real then? How do we know it's not just faked? If you can literally fake it as good as the so-called real one, how do we know the real one isn't fake? Again, that's a serious question. Because we're to the point now where we can now make movies where it's literally identical with what NASA can provide for us as far as, the objects in space, floating around in zero gravity, the spacewalks on the outside of the ISS. Hollywood can literally do the exact same thing identical. So how do you know that the real spacewalk is actually real and not just like a movie, basically, not just like fake? How do you know that? Again, somebody needs to explain this to me. Why should I believe that NASA is telling the truth when we call them out as being frauds thousands of times? And why the hell would I believe their spacewalks as evidence if Hollywood can do the exact same thing for a movie? Why the hell would I believe that? So again, people who believe in the globe, you have to answer these questions for me. But the truth is that really nobody's able to do it because they clearly just don't know what they're talking about. So anyway, I don't want to make the video too long. I just wanted to go on a little bit of a rant and ask, 5 questions. So please do, if anybody's listening to this and you sincerely believe that this world is a spinning globe, you are welcome to either do a video response to this, or you can comment down below in the comments and answer these questions. Thank you very much.